So it's like, but once you start getting more and more, I mean, I could see something like Crunchyroll where it's like all Japanese programming, and that's what it focuses on. Or some of the, I guess, like some of the WWE network, like I get those ones. But yeah, CBS gonna do their own like programming, and Starz doing their own one, and HBO doing their own one, and all these guys doing their own.
It's like $10 a month for like each of those. Then it's just like that's ridiculous. You know, this is the reason. It's this kind of shit which makes people kind of leave it in the first place.
Yeah, it's
they think they just come in and rip someone else off by that model,
and they think that one show is what's gonna change people. Like,
and they feel like, well, people didn't do. We're not going to get a second season because people didn't like it. Like, no, it's not people didn't like it. People just didn't want to pay $10 a month for one show.
Yeah, I like the Ash vs. Evil Dead on Star. It's like they're literally trying to go. They're trying to be like, hey, we got this. You guys want to come by and watch Stars? And I was like, I want to watch Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'll pay it for it when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna pay for you to have a channel.
I feel like that's gonna cancel a lot of shows like that. Like, oh, so much for that. Turns out the show's no fucking good. It's like, no, you guys just have a fucking shitty business model.
Well, hopefully what will happen is like that, like a lot of those ones, they'll give up on it and then it'll just go back to Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, like where it should stay.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones like I know.
Or just put it on NBC and then they'll go. You can stream it and like buy it on Blu-ray or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like just do it like on regular TV or something like that.
That's what I do. I don't even watch like Flash or any of that like on television. I'll stream it. I'll stream it. You know, when it comes on like their website, I'll watch it there.
Yeah, and plus like I on Hulu you pay $12 and I watch commercials, so it's like fuck that. I'll do that. I hate commercials.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast, where we hate commercials. But if you want to be helpful to the podcast, go to our ads on Amazon and buy something. Doesn't cost you a penny, but, you know, throws a little something our way.
This is where I didn't know we were actually recording. Last few times we were kind of like doing the thing where we were just talking for a little while, and you were recording, so I kind of saw it coming, so that by this point, then you did it a few times where you didn't do it, like, oh, I thought we were fucking recording. Oh, okay, never mind. All right, let's get back in the mode.
You're just now like, there was this puppy on the street I was kicking earlier. Just out of spite.
Just out of...
Like, you wish you had Thanksgiving dinner, don't you? Just those horrible comments you don't want recorded.
Just got all this fucking blackmail on me. Yeah, so I was beating up some homeless guy.
Yeah, he was a dick, really. You know, he's asking me for money and shit. Fucking, I was like, dance, boy, dance.
So I don't give a shit if you lost an arm in the war. I need some fucking entertainment.
And a leg. You got one leg left. You can get up and hug me. Do the hop and scotch.
Do the pogo stick. The hobo pogo stick.
The hogo stick.
Yeah, today is Thanksgiving, and just getting a podcast out before we go do the whole family thing. And I every time I come up and visit, like, I gotta do a podcast with Spencer. Okay, it's Christmas Eve. I know it's Christmas Eve, but I just gotta do a podcast. But,
you know, work first.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
I gotta say it's for my job.
It is. So what I always say, as long as you get paid, you can always call it a job, even if it's not like a whole lot.
Even that equals up to like $7 yearly.
Yeah.
From ad revenue.
But if you want to help out some more, you go to Amazon and you click through our links, you know, put them in the description there, or you go to the website, and give a little bit of Thanksgiving and Christmas spirit giving, and buy some shit that you need.
That your family needs, that you need, that America needs.
Exactly, America needs. I always say that's the best way, though. You want to help out America, or just any country that you're in. You
support oldmanorange.com through Amazon.
Well, that too. But really, technically, like the best people is people that just spend money frivolously. It sounds, as long as it's not running up bills. Now, if you run up your bills, then you're fucking everybody else over it. But if you're spending, you know, the money you get and you just say you start spending it, you throw it at restaurants, hopefully local businesses and stuff like that, you know, and then that goes to taxes, so on, builds the economy back up. The worst offenders of this are people that save money. It sounds funny, but that's really like the people that don't help the country at all.
This has been Economics 101 with Spencer Scott Holmes. The Old Man Orange Podcast.
I used to always use Dunigan as an example of cause, wherever we'd go to like a gas station. Dunigan's buying something. We go somewhere else. He's getting something to snack on. He's buying something from somebody. He's helping out the economy left and right.
I just got a buying addiction. Be like Dunigan. Just spend more money. Like, you wanna pay a chinky for gas? No. I don't gotta pay a chinky. Dunigan has it. It's all good.
He's talking about the economy now.
Yeah.
So we got to see it like a really awesome movie this year. Fucking Rocky 7, also known as Creed.
Creed. Yep. Can you take me higher? Did you hear about the thing? I mean, I'm pretty sure it was
Creed tried to sue him?
I don't think it was Creed. It was like a group of fans were trying to boycott the movie, saying there are still Creed fans around, and this is insulting to the great legacy that Creed has, and it's going to take away focus, and the band desperately needs focus right now, because Scott Malarkey is really going through some shit. They don't say shit, though, because they're a Christian band,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well, the funny thing, too, it's like, what legacy? Like, fucking Apollo Creed first appeared on screen, 1976? I'm pretty sure that outbeat your band by at least 15 years, if not more.
I'm going to assume that it was actually more of a hoax than anything. I want to say somebody was trying to start up
Somebody's just trying to dick around.
I mean, maybe. I mean, who knows? I mean, I want to say, I don't want to get all, too controversial here, but there's that whole, a month back or so, there's a whole fucking white genocide thing for Star Wars 7. And I think that whole thing, I honestly don't think whoever made that up really believes it. I honestly think someone just wanted some internet attention, so they said some ass-backwards shit they knew would probably get some attention.
And it did, so it worked. Which, the sad thing is that's the problem, is these things, somebody can just say something, and then everybody starts talking about it, so it worked for what they wanted. Even if you don't have to believe in it, you just got to make up something that's going to stir people up.
And then you could say, you'll hear well, we just wanted to start a dialogue. No, you fucking didn't. You wanted attention. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't know. That sort of thing is where it's like, okay, like when that becomes a problem on the internet, then we're just not enjoying stuff. We got Star Wars coming out. What do you guys got to complain about, other than maybe the over ads?
This is what Ian Malcolm was talking about in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, something like that.
Too much information out at once. Chaos theory shit.
It is. You always got to trust Ian Malcolm. He's a hero. He's a hero to us all.
American hero.
He is. Dresses all in black. Come on.
If he ever ran for president, go faster, must go faster, will be his slogan.
Come on, who makes math look cooler than Ian Malcolm?
I'm having trouble. Tron, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, but
Tron was made from math.
Yeah, but they don't really, it's not like they're talking about math as much. It's kind of like, it's more like, here's programming, but like, we could put it in a way that like regular people can understand.
Who makes math look cooler than Ian Malcolm? I'm drawing a blank. I'm sure there's someone out there, maybe like Neo from Matrix, but I mean...
But even so, he's not really doing math, though.
Even though I think he was... Well, he has to know math, do all that computer hacking shit, and he has to look at all these numbers.
They know it, but they're not like, it's not like he's talking about it. He's not explaining it to you.
He took Ian Malcolm's shtick, though. All the Matrix took his shtick. The whole
All
dress in black, sunglasses.
What? What if Jeff Goldblum was instead?
The real
was
one?
Neo.
I would be...
It'd be much different.
Just the different, just Matrix starring Jeff Goldblum. I'm always kind of curious to see what the Will Smith Matrix would have been, because they were talking, Will Smith was their first choice, and then Keanu Reeves, I think, was their second or third, and Jeff Goldblum is like Neo. That would have just been kind of like, oh, hey Trinity, what's like, oh, that's fucking weird. Oh, you're like, what was the part? Like, there's they bump into the club. It's like, you're Trinity? I thought you were a guy. Most guys do. Oh,
Well, he pushes the glasses up.
Well, that's strange. It's just like, you think that's air you're breathing now? Like, huh? Well, what do you mean this is air that I'm breathing? Of course it's air that I'm breathing now. I imagine he'd be a little bit more on the offense, because Keanu seems to accept it.
Like this Matrix thing, I don't trust it. It's got to be bad. It's got to be bad. Can't be good.
Yeah. Where Keanu seems a lot more like, whoa.
Matrix.
Yeah.
He's like the only guy who can understand it. Yeah.
He just takes it in. Where I think Jeff Goldblum would be more questioning about it the whole time, but
going back to Creed and just being into like...
Yeah, sure, we just derail the whole Matrix conversation. We
just derail it back to Creed.
It's all good.
But no, Creed was just overall really sweet. It was one of the movies I was looking real forward to. I thought it was a smart way to do another Rocky movie without kind of making an old guy fight. Because I guess it does get to that point. Like, for me, like, I could watch Stallone fight till he's like 90 years old, and I'd be like content. But I think the average person goes, man, that guy's getting way too old. Because they said that during Rocky Balboa, and then they did the Grudge Match movie, which is kind of like a different dimension Rocky movie, parallel worlds Rocky.
Like, that is like kind of the closest thing you'll get to like Rocky Balboa versus Raging Bull.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And that movie, I loved it a lot. But they kind of work in the whole point of that. It's two old guys fighting, so it works for what's going on. It's not trying to be like, okay, here's this old guy gonna go fight like a 30-year-old man.
Which I think I never saw Rocky 6, but that's what Rocky 6 was.
Yeah, Rocky 6 is like he goes and does one last fight. Now, strange enough, I own that one, but I've actually only seen that one once. Mm-hmm. It's good.
That's the only one. That's the one I have not seen.
There's no such thing as a bad Rocky movie. Some people might want to say there is, but no, all 7 of them now are all fantastic films.
This one right here, I want to say they're probably trying to start up a new franchise with this, and I guess it is weird because I always see all the Expendables when they come out, but when this one, like, Stallone does look so maybe it's because he's wearing thicker clothing and a lot of like sweaters and stuff, but he does look way much older in this than he did in, like, say, any of the Expendable movies.
Well, then there's also a turnaround point in this movie later on, and then they make him look even older as he starts going through farther and farther in the movie.
Yeah.
Because he's dying. Well, I guess you could not say how, but he's pretty much something bad happens to him, and he's got to kind of live with it and fight through it, which provides some good dramatic moments. But
she's like, "It taught me how to fight again." You know, that whole like conversation. Which, no, this was a good flick. I mean, I already figured it'd probably be pretty good. Michael B. Jordan, though, he's like one of those up and coming guys. I really like that guy a lot.
He is.
He's only been in a handful of things, but the handful of things I've seen him in, he's really good.
No, I think you'll start seeing this guy around a lot more. Even though he was, you even say he's in that Fantastic Four movie. Well, he was one of the best parts of that Fantastic Four movie.
Nobody was complaining about him, and I noticed. Everyone was actually giving him props.
Well, technically, here's the thing about Fantastic Four movie. None of the characters are really bad. It's just, they just need more interesting places to go.
They're just hanging out.
It's more just like the scenery and it's like all the other stuff. It's like, all the actor choices were pretty much fine, but they were just in cooler areas.
And we're doing more shit.
Yeah,
like, let's
just
hang out in
doing
the lab. Oh, you've been off doing all this like Black Ops, like smashing tanks shit? Awesome, let's see it. No? Okay.
Oh, yeah. We didn't. Fox didn't want to shoot it.
Yeah, they said fuck them. Fuck those nerds. They'll pay to see it anyway.
Exactly. That's actually their exact quote from Fox executives.
Rupert Murdoch himself.
But, no, Creed was just all around good. I mean, it is kind of, once again, any boxing movie, it's kind of hard to change them up. Or sports movie in general. I mean, you only got a couple different ways you can kind of go in them. You sort of always know what's going to happen. They're going to, build up. There's going to be a fight. They got to train even harder. They go through the motions. There's a couple dramatic sections in it because maybe the fight's pulling them away from something or another, or their friends and family can't take it, so on. Then it ends in the big game, the big fight, so on. And then you can either mostly go a couple ways. You can either do when, they just win and it's good. You can go the one where they survive, sort of like a Rocky 1, where it's like he just goes all 12 rounds. He doesn't win, technically, but he doesn't lose either. Or you do like a number 3 where they actually lose and you give him one of those like term events. Or you do a wrestler one where he dies.
Yeah. Well, I think wrestler, I don't even think it was a sports movie. I guess it is, but it doesn't even seem like a sports
Well, to me, like the wrestler feels like Rocky, but just even more dramatic.
Well, I guess because we don't even see him like wrestle that much. There's like a scene at the beginning, and then for a while he can't do it, and it's just him trying to patch things up with his daughter. It's way more darker than Rocky, way more depressing than Rocky, and then like he's way more flawed than Rocky.
It's more like Rocky 2. That's the one it's more based off of, I think, if it took anything from. Because Rocky 2's the one where Rocky's kind of like, I don't know if I can do this, I'm just getting too old now, I just won't be able to make it, And then, like, life's not, like, it's like he went those 12 rounds, but that didn't really, like, change his life yet. I mean, yeah, people knew who he sort of was, but he was still living in the slums, still, like, doing that. That's the one where it's got more of, because at least when, like, the first one, he's kind of optimistic. Everything's like, hey, I might be living here on this, pretty much small apartment. I got my turtles, though, and Adrian, she's down the street, life's not too bad, Mickey's, don't want to train me yet, but that's okay. Where the second one's where it's like he's really like, oh man, and then obviously he wins at the end because he beats Apollo. But
the biggest difference between Rocky 2 and like wrestler, I guess he does win in some way, but he dies though.
But I will say the wrestler probably has just as many wrestling scenes in it as like a regular Rocky movie though, because there's like 3 main scenes in the wrestler, and that's about there's about 3 main boxing scenes or so in a Rocky movie. I will say, I do think, because the wrestlers is mostly a little bit longer than a Rocky movie. I think it's 2 hours. So, there is more dramatic stuff in there, but I do feel like it is sort of like, it's almost like if you like the really dramatic stuff in Rocky, then you like the wrestling. If you like just the punching in Rocky, then maybe the wrestler might, if the dramatic stuff's not your thing.
I will be honest, I actually haven't seen, like, the rest of the Rocky films in a long time. They're like all those movies I saw like once or twice. Some of them I only saw like Rocky 1. I only saw Rocky 4 once. I saw Rocky 5 once. And it's all been sometimes I've seen these movies. I remember Rocky 1. We all know Rocky 1. Rocky 2. He's going up against Apollo again. Rocky 3, that's where who's he boxing? Rocky
That's the one that's got Mr. T and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he goes against Mr. T and Hulk Hogan. Rocky 4 is when he boxes the Russian. Then Rocky 5 is when he's training that one younger guy.
Yeah, the
young
Tommy
guy
gun guy who turns on
screws him over, and then it's just like a box out in the street.
Because a lot of people for some reason. People look at Rocky 5 as maybe like their least favorite, but
that's a forgotten one.
Well, that's how I feel too, and I think it's cool how it ends because it ends in like a much different way than all the other Rocky movies. It's like, oh, the final battle, it's just like a street fight. Like I think that's kind of cool, and the whole thing is, and that one Rocky's a trainer, like Creed. It's not like so it's got this different dynamic going to it. I personally like number 5 a lot. It's probably the one I've only seen about twice too, but
then Rocky, and I never saw Rocky 6. Rocky 6 is a comeback.
Yeah, it's like the comeback where he's just older and does it. And that one's just good too, but But
this one right here, I'll say that like, I was kind of surprised. I knew Rocky was going to be in it, but I honestly didn't think he was going to be in as much as he was. I thought it was literally going to be, he's going to be training for a while, and I thought they were almost just all the parts in the trailer. I almost thought that's all like Stallone would be in it for. Mm-hmm. I thought like just about like I thought that like probably when you get to like the third act or something, like he goes to them at the halfway point. It's like, oh, you're pretty good, kid. I'll see you around. Then all of a sudden, like he goes to him at the third act and kind of gives him some more advice. But no, he's full on there like most of the movie.
Yeah, he's literally like just his main character. Which I liked a lot because I was really expecting him just to pop in with a cameo and then come in at the very end and say this is how you throw a fucking punch, kid. Yeah, I think that made the movie so much better too.
And then just cut to him watching the game like at his home or at his restaurant. You know what I mean, during the battle. But he was there the whole way though. So
yeah, he was literally his trainer, which I think that was the way to totally.
Which did make it feel more like Rocky 7.
Yeah, this movie technically is Rocky 7. There's like no way around because at first I thought it was just gonna be like. Not like loosely connected, but like it was going to be connected, but not like almost more spin-offy. Like this is a Creed song, but we mentioned it a couple times and maybe some flashbacks, but that's about it. Here's a cameo of Stallone a couple times. Mm-hmm. But no, it's like it's full on Rocky 7. It's just Rocky's not fighting.
I'm so glad Paulie's dead. Let me say that right now. I am so happy Paulie is dead because Paulie
is just like he is just that horrible like little like
leech.
Yeah, like okay. I will say, he does sort of help out, like, in the very first one. Not like a whole lot, but, like, he is there to sort of get Rocky started before Mickey comes in. He takes him to the meat locker, he gets him places to train and so on, I guess, it's one of those ones, like, really, like, if Rocky did not marry Adrian, he would have to have nothing to do with Paulie. He could just say, fuck you, Paulie, you get out of here, nobody wants you.
And I think that would have been fine.
You're a drunk and a loser.
It's one of those things like, okay, he's just like, there's a part Rocky 3, like, who got you there? Who got you there? It was Paulie. What's the thing for Paulie? It's just like, dude, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, all right, yeah, you got him to the meat locker and you helped him out. I'm sure he's grateful, but it's not like, it's like.
really trained him.
It's, yeah, and it's not like.
I want to be a trainer.
Exactly. It's not like I just think he's one of those guys who wants way more credit than he fucking deserves. And then he uses all their fucking money.
Yeah, because
loses all their fucking money in Rocky 5.
He had a mansion in 3 and 4. He was living this high life, and then I think it's in 5. Fucking Paulie blows it all on. I can't remember what he blows it on. He goes gambling or invests in something stupid or like. And who's letting Paulie like run the money?
Yeah.
And then it's also too like I like how like. Stallone gets that robot for like the family, and then it's like the kid's like, "Oh, my robot and everything." And the next thing you know, Paulie's like changed it around, so now it's like his like woman slave and like fuckbot.
There's that part when they go to like Paulie's room. He says, "You can crash here. It's my room. It's my old best friend's room, Paulie." So like, there's like the robot
like walking. It's just all sticky.
It's all sticky. Turns like there's the robots like facing in the corner. Just like, "May I live? You stay in that fucking corner." Paulie said take care of the robot. He says, keep the robot. He didn't say nothing about taking care of it. You stay in that fucking corner. It's like,
the boy robot's like, I just want to.
He looks at the window. Freedom. Yeah. You shut the fuck up. Like throws a bottle at it. Yeah, so your bed's right there. Go ahead, kid.
Uncle Rock, can I get the robot? No, the robot stays there. The robot's always in the corner. That's all I got left of my fortune is that robot. Robot cost $500,000. It ain't fucking leaving.
It's that part like.
Which they never bring that robot back. Because that's like the weirdest thing though. Because Rocky is like. it's a realistic, serious movie, and then all of a sudden there's a fucking robot in it.
There's that part, like, I can only imagine, like, I like to imagine that he killed Polly.
The robot?
No. Rocky killed Polly. What if they work together to do it? No. I imagine, like, Rocky killed Polly.
I think
like,
Polly
his
dies
carcass...
in number 5 or 6. I can't remember.
Does he die in 5? I thought maybe it was...
It's maybe 6 then.
Yeah. Just
Because pretty much in each Rocky movie,
someone dies.
It's just like the guaranteed thing, you know. No, because 5 is Adrian, so I think it's 6 for for Polly.
Oh, does
somehow, some way, Polly outlasts everybody for the longest time.
If he does die, if he does die in 6, I almost imagine that like it was one of those things he died off screen. We didn't see how. But maybe he does die in 6.
No, he does, and it's a dramatic moment and everything. It's not like
oh fuck.
It's not like Rocky's just like burying him in the backyard.
Just puts a rock there. You don't get a fucking tombstone, Polly. You get this.
Well, this will be my new piss space.
I just imagine it just like having his carcass down in the meat locker, just like sucking it. You finally really helped me out, Polly. You helped me out finally, the best way you could. At some point, like I almost imagine like when he's coming upstairs from the freezer, like what are you doing down there? Oh, I just got done killing Polly. What's up? You know.
Yeah, like comes in and he's like washing his hands. But it's kind of funny because or it might be funny, but like you look at Rocky like in a Creed, and it's almost like he has still not recovered from like that loss of Polly. It's like all he's got this like small apartment. He's got a restaurant, just in like an okay part of not Pittsburgh, but Philly, and. It's just like, dude, that effect has affected him for like 20 years almost, like how much money Polly's wasted. Because you think he'd start getting residuals and things like that back, but it's like, nope, it's still probably going to like you're gotta pay for Polly's losses still.
It's one of those things, I wonder if it's like, he's just like, they always say that like, why do you need a mansion when you got friends and family? But, thing is, I had a fucking mansion.
Actually, if you notice, when the mansion went, I lost my son.
Yeah.
He said, Dad, I don't like you without money, and left. He went to Vancouver. I don't even know where that is. In fact, he doesn't want me to know where it is.
I'm gonna assume it's somewhere down south or something. I don't know. No, but like, just like, I see, Polly said, like, well, you got me, you got Polly. Well, I also had a fucking house. I had a fucking mansion.
I had a mansion. I had a robot. I had a son. Polly took them all away.
Isn't the son somewhere in number 6 for a minute?
I think he might come in that one for a moment. And Creed really just does the thing like, where it's like, you had a kid? He's like, yeah. Fucking degenerate son that didn't want to do anything. No, he doesn't like go that bad. But it does have that feeling like, yeah, we don't really talk anymore. Moved to Vancouver with his wife. I guess he's doing good. I don't know.
He's got a kid.
Wanted him to fight at one point, but he got all pissy at me for training a guy named Tommy Gunn.
Too much of a fucking pussy to throw a punch. Why don't you start throwing fists instead of like pushing them pencils? Pushing these weights!
Yeah. Well, it's almost like Rocky sort of like, it's almost like Goku and Chi-Chi. Where like Goku kind of just wants his son to like have fun and train and stuff. Well, even though Rocky's always like, you want to use your head for something more than a punching bag like I do. But it is that sort of thing where it's like, Adrian's more like, no, do your studies and stuff. Like, no, it's okay, you can get some exercise in.
The new Rocky theme is da 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 from fucking Dragon Ball.
The one thing in like number 5 though I don't like is because like the son does get like all like Rocky's pretty much training a guy for work, Tommy Gunn and everything, and his son's like, Dad, you're not paying attention to me. We don't have a mansion anymore, so I can't be distracted. And a robot.
They do that whole
thing? Yeah, they do one of those things. That's about the only downfall of 5 is. That's kind of like the thing there was like, I gotta learn to take care of both my son and my work. Which I always hate those things in movies. I don't know why they always bother me like a lot. It's just like, Dad's working.
That's what makes money.
How do you think he got a mansion?
But wasn't fucking Polly, I tell you that.
You know what's another funny thing too in Creed that just makes me laugh is because they go to like sort of like the old gyms. They go to Apollo's gym. And now it's all nice and fancy where like in Rocky 3 it was just like dark and almost like a dungeon. Yeah, and they even have that scene where they all walk in there because Apollo's like, come on, we're going to go where I trained, where I became the champ and everything. And they go there and they show up and all like everybody's boxing And all of a sudden, like, the music stops. Everybody stops training. They just turn and look. Just like, Italians. And even Paulie gets the boys like, I don't like these people here. Rocky, why don't we just go back to, like, where it's safe? In Italian. And Rocky just goes, hey, Paulie, what do you got against these people? You know what? Just because you don't like them? Well, maybe they don't like you, too. And Paulie's like, I don't care. I'm fine with that. You almost just wait for Paulie just to go, like, just flip out, just racist comments and everything.
He's like, I was from a different time, Rock. I ain't ready for this. I'm okay with punching them, but not working out with them, man.
And then like in the Creed, they go to Mickey's gym too, and then it's all like modernized too. It doesn't look all like old and sweaty and stuff. It looks like almost like a chain came in and bought it.
Yeah.
They just start playing like modern music, and I like when you leaned over, you're like, dude, could you imagine what Mickey would say when he heard this going on? Like,
but yeah, they're like modern day hip hop playing.
Yeah, just
like I get it. I think it makes sense for like working.
Rock, what is this? What's going on in the gym?
I think it makes sense for like
There's the Jungle Jams playing.
I think it makes sense for like workout music, but it's one of those things like I can just imagine like this is Mickey's gym, like oh, you know.
It's just like, well, because a lot of old timers too, like they believed in no music. Like mostly, if you were about Mickey's age, you would have never had music in the gym. It was considered like a distraction. Mm-hmm. A lot of those guys trained just like in silence. Mm-hmm. So, because I think Stallone's like he's like the next generation was like, hey, you got to get some tunes going, you know. Yeah. Just like even in Creed, he starts dancing in the morning. He's like, yeah, gotta get the blood flowing.
Which that was actually kind of cool to see. He wasn't so stiff. He was actually had a little bit of sense of humor about the whole thing. I mean, I think Stallone is actually smarter than people. People make him out to be just this big dumb meathead. But if you see him in interviews, he actually is a pretty smart guy.
Well, it's more like, okay, the Rocky character, something that they translate, because the Rocky character is supposed to just be just a regular guy. Like, you know, he's not the smartest guy. You know, he's just your average Joe. And I think sometimes people like look at the Rocky character almost as like, that's all Stallone is. It's like, well, no, that's him character acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he won an Academy Award for
like... Because you don't see Rambo, like, going, hey, what's going on here?
Well, didn't he win an Academy Award for Rocky?
Yeah, he won a bunch of awards for that movie.
Yeah. So.
You know? Because him and then Schwarzenegger actually got an award that same year, too, for Best Newcomer.
Huh. I didn't know about Newcomer. I know
I don't know if it's Academy Award. It might have been like one of the other ones, like a Golden Globe, I think.
I think that he got like Best Actor or something. I think Stallone got Best Actor for Rocky.
I want to say he got Best Actor. I almost want to say he got Best like Screenplay too, or something like that. He
Possibly Best Picture.
Got like 2 or 3. Yeah, I got 2 or 3
big
awards.
Ones, yeah.
And then from that point on, like that's really like as far as Stallone ever went, as far as people thinking of him being like acclaimed like that. From that point on, it translated from hey, you're doing all this cool like things for the Academy and whatnot. Then you just get like, well, now he's got Stallone fans, and that's all you need.
Yeah. You
got the guys who just want to see Stallone kicking ass and throwing punches and blowing shit up.
But there's a part where they start going with Michael B. Jordan. They start taking him to different gyms to train him for a while. They take him to Mickey's gym, and they have that part where they have. There's the guy who I guess is basically running the gym now.
Which I don't know. I kind of wonder. Do you think that guy might have been somewhat related to Mickey? Like maybe like it's a movie. I mean, in real life, we just know that Mickey died, that gym got sold to somebody else. Like that's real life. But movie wise, I was kind of wondering, like, because he knew Rocky and all that stuff. I wonder if that was like sort of like there's this like Mickey's nephew or something weird like that.
I could see it going.
They don't say that in the movie, but like I just kind of imagine it being something like that.
Maybe not. They didn't make him the most likable character. I mean, they didn't make him the worst or hateable.
But that's why I say nephew, not Mickey's son or anything.
Yeah, because it's implied
Mickey's like second cousin, twice removed.
It's implied that he basically it's implied that he outed because of like a Michael B. Jordan's character is going to the name Johnson. He's trying to avoid using his name Creed.
So he wants to make it on his own.
Yeah, and then he's the one that like slips it out to I think ESPN or something.
Yeah, because he wants to get money.
Yeah. Which there's the British guy. There's the British like undefeated champion.
The Wales guy, yeah.
The Wales guy who just comes out like, I'm gonna beat this boy down into the ground, like that whole thing. He has the whole like wannabe gangster thing.
Oh, and he literally takes the guy that in the beginning of the movie that in Apollo's gym, like the main boxer there, like he breaks that guy's face. Where he's like, there we go, already won. I didn't even have to fight him in the ring. Look at me, look at me.
Which I figured they do that.
More like.
I figure they do that thing at the end because at the end of that, when they end of all those movies, they always once they like it's that weird like thing of respect. Like, okay, I punched him in the face. He punched me in the face a couple of times. We respect each other now because for a while they're doing everything they can to make you hate that the British dude. But then as it goes on, though, at the very end, he's just like, "You got some punches, kid. You got some punches." You know.
It's always just weird when you see like British white guys like
Try to be all thugged out.
Well, because British people seem like twice as white as Americans. I don't know what it is. Like, you think an American person looks white, then you see a British person, they just always seem way whiter. So the second that they're coming out, they got like rap music playing and everything. It's like, okay, you just had a black guy come out with rap music playing.
He had a guy spitting fire for his intro as he walked out.
It's just, I don't know, it's just so weird with like, English people. But
there is that part when they're sitting there in the, they're going over, like his manager is going over his business plan about like, you're in debt, you really need some money, how about we go after this Creed kid? Like, no, he just started, he's not worth my time, this and that. He's like, yeah,
we gotta do it. You got to go off and get him.
Well, it didn't have that old timey British feel because they're in this nice like wooden like mansion. Everything looks all nice and classy. It's dimly lit. He's sitting there.
Candles in the back.
Yeah, like there's like this big window with a lot of green behind him. You know, nice courtyard. He's like, we don't have an option here. This is the only thing we can do. He almost
like like fancy pants, like British. It was like almost like stereotypical, like what Americans think like England looks like.
One step more would have been a monocle and a top hat.
Exactly. Grabby's like, you got to get him. You got to get the money.
Get the American money.
I have American money. Like takes a dollar bill and sniffs it. It's like, well, that's fucking weird.
Just crumples it, jumps like, oh! His eyes are rolling back and shit. And then, like at some point, though, he calls him. They sit down with him, just like, oh, well, we're only gonna box you if you use the name Creed. That's the way this works.
It's just always usually like a dick thing, like, yeah, that's all you're good for is a name.
And they even just was like, oh, he only has one fight under his belt, and people are making a big deal about him and all that. So
they use Mexican fight. For some reason, they use Mexico. It's like Mexico doesn't count.
Yeah. He's like, I have
not like real America.
Yeah, I have like 15. Yeah, that's right. He's like, I have 15 wins in Mexico. Like, oh, we don't give a shit about that.
Yeah,
it's like your Mexican credits are no good here. You know, only
only United States credits.
Like fucking Watto is running the fucking boxing ring.
Do you think Watto will make an appearance in episode 7?
No. They're talking about how they're avoiding stuff from 7, from the prequels altogether. I'm gonna say, go ahead and throw one or two things from there just to acknowledge it's the same universe. You don't got to throw in huge plot points.
Because that bothers me, because they do that in like a lot of movies nowadays too, where they like, let's just like, okay, you know the ones that people don't seem to like as much? They might be good movies, but you know, they don't like them as much. Let's really try to avoid like talking about them. Because that's the only thing, and I just keep seeing it more and more movies and stuff. Like, and I don't think necessarily these movies like are trying to avoid some of the prequels and stuff, but by not talking about them, I think that almost makes it kind of worse.
I mean, we don't know till the movie comes out. Like, there's rumors going around that what's his name, that Flynn, the guy who I believe is gonna be the main character, one of the two main characters, is the nephew or the great nephew or the grandson of the officer from Naboo in Phantom Menace.
Oh, that's cool. At least
there's a rumor about that. You know, I think rumors go. It's like, well, he's related. If he is related to anybody, it's one of 3 black guys in the entire Star Wars universe.
Yeah, he's gonna be related to that.
I'm gonna say get Billy D. Williams in there shooting some fuckers at some point. I really want to see Billy D. Williams up in there.
I know. I hope that because that's something they haven't really talked about yet, but they better get him in there.
I'm sure they'll get in. I mean, he's going to cons.
I'm trying to think of somebody who'd be really sweet to have. Like, well, the only thing about the prequels was a lot of people that you think it's like, oh, he could be. Oh, he's dead. Not there either.
Because most of the characters you do like are dead in the.
Because like Darth Maul dead, Qui-Gon Jinn dead, Mace Windu dead. Well, it depends on like.
You got electrocuted and thrown out a window.
I know that isn't there like a book where it's like, oh, he landed on a taxi cab and survived.
I don't think so.
And just decided, you know what, fuck this town.
Gonna just open up a nice shop somewhere in Hoth. Nice quiet there.
That'd be the way to do it. It's like, oh, who's his son? Or like, who's his dad? Oh, it's Mace Windu. Apparently, he just became a shop owner and hit, like, just like not quiet, but just like Obi-Wan kind of like hid away. That'd be kind of cool if Mace Windu survived and then he like hid. Like,
I'd be for that. I can see them doing something kind of like that.
Once again, that brings it around to like, okay, now you've named off 2 of the black guys in the galaxy.
I guess you could be there is the black dude with the eye patch from Attack of the Clones, and he may have been in Revenge of the Sith. and then who was like Padme's like right hand man. But then there's the guy who was like a pretty big character in Phantom Menace. He was like their he was like the commander. The commander. Yeah.
Or whatever.
So, which I mean, I think it would be kind of cool if they did something you wouldn't expect. Not that that's like not saying it has to have that. I could see him doing something like they're trying to hide that, but then by the time you get people that already kind of like. You pull a fast one on them, like, oh, you like this? You think it's good? You think it's good? All right, guess what?
Jar Jar Binks is the main star of number 8.
Nothing to that effect, but something to the effect of like, oh, that want to know who his dad is? It's this guy or his grandfather.
His dad's Jar Jar Binks. Like, what? How does that make any sense? What, you didn't know Jar Jar was black? Let's just play by a black guy.
I feel bad for that guy because that guy was just so like.
He was so happy. You watch him in the special features. He's so happy to play that role.
He'd be in Star Wars, and then people are like, "What is this?" And like George Lucas was like, you see him in like the special features of that. He's like,
"Oh, this is gonna be the best new character. People are gonna love this.
People are gonna love this guy. Everything hinges on Jar Jar."
He just is one of those ones.
Which,
but once again, now I think about like, okay, all the prequels, all the main characters are pretty much dead. Padme's dead. Darth Vader's dead. Obi-Wan Kenobi's dead. Like Yoda's dead. Like nobody's left.
Yeah.
You almost can't really, I guess you can't really have too many people come back. Plus that, or they'd be like really old. Like 80 years old. They'd be like super old. Mm-hmm. Like who the hell would be...
Oh, yeah, so that would be...
Because it'd be so much farther in the future.
Well, just have some connection to it. Doesn't have to be the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a rumor going around, and apparently someone from Disney said it's not the case, but people in Disney, because names lie, where because you see what's his name, Kylo Ren staring at the helmet, saying I'll finish what you started or whatever. And then at some point you see him standing in the rain with a bunch of other guys around him, and there's a bunch of dead bodies on the ground. People saying those are Ewoks, and other people saying they're not Ewoks. I think it makes sense if they were Ewoks. They went back there to get the body.
Yeah, I can.
I imagine he had to stop by somewhere to grab that helmet.
Yeah, where else is it going to be?
Yeah, but we'll see what happens. I mean, you have all these crazy fan theories about this and that and where it's going. I don't know. We'll just see when the movie comes out. I think it's fun to speculate, but you get people that look too much into it and they get mad when it's not what they thought it would be.
Exactly. But going back to Creed really quickly, the one thing that like that movie, like they said, if they're going to do sequels in it, they get set up so well to do some stuff. I think if they did a second one, the cool thing to do would be like he's got to fight Dolph Lundgren's kid. Because who'd be the best one? Because
he killed his dad.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren killed his father. So like, it'd be perfect like for a
Dolph
battle.
Lundgren's like teaching him.
Yeah, because then you could have Dolph Lundgren like and do it like whereas one of those ones, even though I guess he's kind of like the bad guy in the one, but maybe make him not seem so. Because in his older age, he's not so serious and almost like I just keep punching. Because that's sort of how it is. It's like they make him like, oh, he's a prize Olympic winner, but he actually more like fights like he's like a Terminator in that movie. Like the bell rings, he keeps punching.
They make it out to be like...
Because the only downfall, it's like, it's made at that time period where it's like, Russians are bad.
Evil. Bad Russian.
Yeah, and like, that's the only thing. I was like, sometimes it's kind of like, you do, later in life, and you look at that, you kind of like, okay, guys, they're not, you may not like, maybe like Russia as a country, but it's not like the people are bad, you know what I mean?
I had this one roommate for a while that was a Russian dude. He was a really cool, nice guy, and then we started talking about movies, and I almost started talking about Rocky. Like, in Rocky 2, I almost went to Rocky 4. One of the first things he asked me, he's like, just tell me right now, is it true that most Americans don't like Russians? It's just like, well, maybe back in the, I don't know about that now, maybe back like in the 80s that was the case, but time moves on. And he's like, okay, we're friends! Like, alright, awesome.
Well, that's kind of like when we had like Estonian friends. It was like, you didn't bring up Russians with that either. You didn't go like, you know what I always thought looked cool? Or you know what I love about Red Alert? The Soviets! Because you do that to them, they're like, no, we lived in Soviet Union time. Horrible, I say. You're like, oh, okay.
But they're fun to play as in Red Alert. No!
Just go take down that Soviet flag in the room. Because I know it's that one where, like, it's like the people that lived in Russia, like, the communism was not bad there. It was only bad if you're in the colonies, because that, like, the money just really thinned out by that point.
I can see that.
And they just didn't care. But it's like, well, if we're going to spend on your own. Mm-hmm. Hand out what's left to the others. Mm-hmm. But I think that'd be such a sweet storyline for Creed 2. It's like, that's what it is. So you still got Rocky in there, and he's still training, Apollo. Because you got to keep that dynamic going. And
well, Rocky 4 is a lot of, maybe not Russians, but as for most people, a lot of people's favorite one is Rocky 4. So it makes sense to go back to
that one's like a perfect Rocky, because it's like, It's like a 90-minute movie. It's got a continuous amount of action, and it's still enough drama, really sweet training sequences. It's more of an action movie than the other ones, even though it still has big dramatic elements in it and stuff. Mm-hmm. Apollo dies in that one. Mm-hmm. But I think that'd be so cool. I hope they do continue these Creed movies. It seems like people are liking it.
Well, I guess you could almost do I guess you could do that because right now we almost are, not entirely, we are almost kind of like on the new stages of a second Cold War, it seems, with Putin.
Yeah, because for some reason they're getting this conflicts against Russia again and so on. So
this would be kind of like how Rocky ended the first Cold War. Like Creed's going to end the second Cold War with his fist.
Yeah, and I think that'd just be cool. It's just, he's like, Ivan's training up his son, to be whatever, kind of like if he's doing Olympic boxing or so on. And then Creed, that's like the next target. Who's going to be the next person in battle?
I want to see just working down the bloodline. Yeah. What if it doesn't not even a boxing movie? What if it just becomes like an assassination movie? Just by the end of it, they have to box each other.
And then the third one, you can have like Mr. T's son. That's all it is, just battling people's sons.
Why not?
Hulk Hogan's son, and then like the next one.
He gets in a DUI on the way to there.
So they have to call off the match.
His Hulk Hogan's son would be so fucking easy. Just some fucking like.
Well, I was more thinking of his character, not particularly his actual son. But
I know. It's hard for me to imagine. No, but like there's like a part where like, oh shit, going back to Creed for a minute. There is that part where we actually see where Michael B. Jordan starts dating this girl. And this girl, she's pretty cool. She's a musician. She's really pretty. She's really cool and all that. And she's likable. But the music she plays fucking sucks. I'm sorry, it fucking sucks. So I can only imagine that'd be kind of even though kind of the more dramatic scenes between the two isn't anything too bad. There is got to be that awkward, tough moment where she's like, "Here, I made this song for you." Then, like, just being with this girl that's really pretty and pretty cool. Just being, oh, it's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm going to work out with this tomorrow. I'm just going to put it down. I don't want to hear it till I work out. It's just, I don't want to ruin the moment.
Well, I want to play on this other one. We could do that. We could also put on Netflix. But, like, you don't like it? No, I do like it. We could put it on,
Rocky's got, a classic 70s mix. Let's put that on instead. It's good. It's classic.
They give you some inspiration, just, like, tighten up some of these. It's not meant to be tightened up. It's those gaps are meant to be there. Oh, well, no. And it sounds great. It sounds awesome like that, Yeah,
I know. It's kind of weird music in a sense, but I don't know. What's another thing that's kind of funny about Rocky 3, though, is like when they have this match where he has to fight Hulk Hogan. It's supposed to be like a benefit thing. Like, oh, the wrestler versus the boxer and everything.
And he's actually playing himself?
Hulk Hogan? No, he's playing like...
It's been some
his name's like something like Thunder Lips or something weird.
Thunder Lips. That sounds like a porn name.
I know. But it's right before that time where people are like, no, wrestling's still full on serious, so make sure that like that. It's not, nobody's in on it yet. Mm-hmm. So it is just that one where he's like picking him up and slamming him down. It's like, oh, what the heck, be careful. He just starts like punching Rocky and everything. Which, when you look back on it in retrospect, it's like, it's so weird. It's like... But they do have that thing at the very end, though, that kind of like breaks like the wall that if you for some reason thought wrestling was still like, full on real, because then at the end he's like, oh, okay, let's do a photo op together.
Yeah, there is. Well, even in not even high school, like fucking middle school and elementary school, kids still thought wrestling was real.
In the South, I think people still think wrestling's real. Some of the wrestling matches.
They also think they lost. They won the Civil War.
Well, I remember just like being at some of the wrestling matches, and there's people on the sidelines just like flipping out, like, what the fuck, and we're just like, do they just like, are they not in on it? Like, these people are taking it so fucking serious, like. Because the thing about wrestling, it's like entertainment. It's kind of like when you go to a movie. You know that it's not real. You know that when you're watching a Mission Impossible movie, that wasn't an actual mission that was filmed. It was a script and a storyline. And by accepting that like so early on, you just really enjoy the entertainment. That's how wrestling is too. You accept it so early on that you're there to be entertained. These people, it's just like treating it like what? Do they have money bet on this or something? Like.
I guess maybe they just really want that character to win. I mean, I kind of get that way sometimes when I see like something like Screw Attack when they do like Death Battle mashup. I'm like, what the fuck? How'd Spider-Man beat Batman? As if it was like
real.
Yeah. Maybe if I watch it again, the outcome will be different.
Sort of like that like wacky racist philosophy. It's like, what the fuck? Why'd that character win? Like a show full thought Penelope Pitstop was gonna make it.
Penelope Pitstop. What about Motley? Motley needs to win one of these races at least once.
I do remember as being a kid that wacky races would really piss me off.
I never really watched Wacky Race.
Probably better off that way.
Yeah, probably better off. I will watch.
There's some shows there's some Hanna-Barbera shows that just weren't worth the time and effort.
I'll watch Death Battle sometimes. It's kind of like that show Deadliest Warrior where they'll take
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah, well they'll take like they do a little bit more like Deadliest Warrior where Deadliest Warrior will take like a different.
Here's a samurai versus a gunslinger.
Something
and a pizza boy.
Exactly. Pizza boy. Oh god! They have the reenactment just running through.
So what would he do? Well, you take the hot pizza and open the box and slowly toss it. Toss it from his hand, hoping that it will hit the samurai directly in the face.
They have like a 3D modeling, like
just like this samurai, just like a pizza comes and smacks him in the face.
That would be his attack.
But really, he might deflect it with his sword. Just shows slow motion slicing the pizza.
Like Zack Snyder's slow-mo.
Yeah.
Well, they would have like I would watch that show, but it would get annoying because what they would do is they would like bring in like 2 experts from each. There'd be the guys, the main guys in the show who are the mediators. And then they bring in 2 experts from each side. So, and like the experts get all each other's faces. You know, like they had Yakuza versus the Mafia. And like the Yakuza guys the Mafia's like, oh, like the Yakuza guys are all doing like, you know, like nunchucks and all that kind of stuff. Mafia goes, oh, it looks really pretty, but couldn't do anything. Yeah, it's going to do something in your face. And the other guy's like holding him back for a second. It's just like, just get to the stats. Don't got to get all this fucking fake drama. They'll do something against...
It'd be funny if this show was really one of those ones like, with like, what we do is we pit these 2 guys together in a ring, Thunderdome style, and watch them fight out. And that's how we'll know if it actually who's going to win.
Because they'll like test their
Pizza
weapons.
Boy versus the samurai.
Because they'll like test. So I just see the reenactment. Because they have like a reenactment at the end. Just like some reenactment of Pizza Boy. Hey, a pizza's here. Like, oh god! He just like.
No, it's not even a reenactment. It's a full-on like death battle, like.
I was just imagining
Running Man style.
Just this guy running around like, oh fuck! Oh fuck! Just running through the game.
Chasing after him.
Oh, and they bring in like the stats from the thing into the reenactment, and it, you know, it was an interesting show. I felt like I walked away learning some stuff, but it would irritate me because even the reenactment characters would do something stupid. You know what I mean?
You could tell that some of the stuff was just written in there to be like,
yeah,
to put more conflict in.
Yeah, and like the whole like death battle thing. Sometimes, even though it doesn't really matter, because you can kind of like you can bring your favorite character and go to someone else's favorite character. And long enough, no one's going to back down from that. You're going to just keep on going and going until one of you just gets tired of arguing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand that. But there's some where it's just kind of like, all right, you guys just did that just to get comments going or just to like stir up controversy.
Once again, it comes back to the very beginning of the podcast that people are just doing things just to create controversy. Sometimes that's why I don't watch those kind of things. Because when I look at them, I know that's like, you guys are just doing it just because you know it will get a lot of people talking.
Well,
I mean, I know, I guess it's not like bad. I mean, obviously these guys are probably making way more money than us. Mm-hmm. But that's how I look at it. I just don't feel like it's creative enough. It's just like that, you know.
Some of them I enjoy it. I'll watch, depending on who's battling, I'll enjoy it. But there's like sometimes like you'll look at, what was it? There was like Wolverine versus Raiden from like Metal Gear Rising, mm-hmm. and Raiden won. And it's just like,
it's like, how would he win? He's just...
He got a chance in there to cut off like Wolverine's head, and he can't recuperate without his head. So,
yeah, but how would he get that close to Wolverine?
You know how this shit works.
See, I think that's my problem too. Is like this stuff's kind of like illogical, and once again, they do that so people talk about it. See, we're talking about it. We should probably stop talking about it because this was giving them more like publicity.
I mean, I don't hate the show, but every once in a while I'm like, oh, you just did this for the ratings right here.
Yeah, I mean that's what it sounds like when you do that. Because realistically, it's like you're not gonna have somebody who's
like, well, who's everybody's favorite character?
Who's pretty much immortal compared to just a regular guy who's just a child soldier.
Well, it's like the whole.
I like Raiden.
When he got to the robot version, when he got to basically robot Raiden from Metal Gear.
Oh, okay, I guess so. He does have. That's more of a battle.
That's the one they're going with. They're not going with like Solid 2.
I guess that's all. That's what I was picturing was like fucking Solid 2.
No, that would be like straight up bullshit. I understood the other one a little bit more because it was like
okay. The other one makes a little bit more sense because he does have more skills.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Let's take a quick break right there.
Hey, I'm Rob.
And I'm Slim.
And we do things like eat hot dog smoothies and have our interns shit in adult diapers.
Yakov Spiridov loves us. He raves about us on Twitter.
We do a lot of great interviews with musicians, actors, and comedians.
We've also gotten a bunch of death threats and lawsuit threats.
If any of these things intrigue you, then check us out. Find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube.
Robin Slim, internet radio at its finest. Pew 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 pew.
I just put on your Spencer's Pip-Boy. You actually got the super special edition of Fallout 4 that came with the Pip-Boy. And I just like to imagine someone walking down the street with this thing.
Well, you literally could, because you could put it on because your phone's in there, so you technically, that could be your phone case.
What time is it? I'm so glad you asked. Now I'm just looking at it, because, in the game, you just glance at it. You know what the guy has it on his hand. But it's one of those
But you almost
things...
kind of forget that it's on his hand.
This thing is so big and clunky. Like, if you get into a big shootout with a bunch of super mutants or whatever, this is one of the first things to go.
Yeah, I know. You can protect your face.
Or you roll or duck. This is one of the first things that's gonna fucking break.
Even though I'm pretty sure the guy there he doesn't have a plastic one.
Yeah, he doesn't have a plastic one, but still. But yeah, no, this almost looks kind of like one of those things. Like, I mean, it's kind of cool. I wish I actually spent some extra money to get this, because it's just a rarity. But it's one of those things where it looks almost kind of like something you'd get, like, I never played it, but you'd see that game Yu-Gi-Oh! And you see, like, there's, like, some plastic attachment.
They always have that thing on their arms, Yu-Gi-Oh!
It looks like something they use for that. Now, I would not use this thing for the game. I'm just kind of like, I'm just a dumbass when it comes to collecting stuff, so I'd probably get something like this, but yeah. There's that
But
period.
it's nicely made. It's because I like how it's got the metal parts and everything on it, and it doesn't feel that cheap. Like I kind of expect it to be cheaper for some reason. I'm glad it's not.
But yeah, you got this Pip-Boy. I almost would just walk around the street with... I can think of, like, several people who just walk around the street with this thing on. Like, I got my Pip-Boy, let's check it out,
It'd probably be the thing if that came out, like, in high school.
I could think of, like, at least 4 people that would do that.
They'd be, like, wearing it around class. I bet you there is people wearing it around class.
Just go by Somerville.
Yeah, just go to the school like a creepster. And show me who's got their Pip-Boy on.
Yeah. Well, it's not like you can, like, just flash it, just be all, like, incognito about it. You just got this big, giant, brown, clunky-ass thing attached to your arm.
Like, how many kids do you think have gotten that taken away from them in class?
I don't know. Well, maybe it depends if they're all like beep boop 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 the whole time. I didn't, because now it's a whole other dynamic with kids in school now. Because before, there's Game Boys and there's passing notes, but now texting. I wonder how many like teachers' desks are filled with cell phones, or if they're at that point like the parents like no, that is a $400 phone. You are not keeping that in your desk.
I bet you there's been some ones where the parent shows up and is like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, I'd be like, some teacher, I'd take my game and be like, get the fuck out of here. Except I didn't say that. I'd be like, no, I'm keeping this. And then be like, oh yeah, well, how about you go to the principal? I'm like, I will. And then I go walk outside and just like hang out for like 20 minutes and then come back in and be like, do. It's like, they don't know.
Yeah. They got too much shit. Like, they're already...
But it's like, well, one's like, no, I spent like on my hard-earned like $150 on this DS. You're not going to fucking get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are.
Or I did a thing like, you give me something to yours, huh? I'll take that fucking computer over there.
You just grab like that, like a 98, like iMac. You just like pick it up, like I'm taking the blue one.
Wait. I don't know. Do I kind of want the green one though? It looks pretty snazzy.
The like keyboard just all dragging behind you, gets caught in the door.
You just keep going until it snaps.
I don't give a shit. I'm taking this to the pawn shop.
Yeah, if you're gonna keep my DS.
Then I can't. I'm not sure. I'm sure there has been like some case somewhere teachers kept a DS or an iPhone, but I can't imagine.
I can't imagine them. Well, when I say
probably to the end of the
yeah, till the end of the day.
Not to the end of the year. Because sometimes when you get to the end of the year, it's like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's like, you can go fuck yourself for all I care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was never one of those kids, though. I was one of those kids like, we fear the teachers. They will come for us, so I never really did that. I can see, like, all right, well, here's the thing. I can see in elementary school them saying, no, don't bring that. Like, some kid just bitch slapping another kid with that fucking thing. I can see that happening. I can see possibly them wearing it, like, wearing it in class, and once the teacher sees there's no phone in there, it's just this blank thing that makes no noise, just a bit... Alright, times are different, whatever, just sit down at your fucking desk.
Just goes outside, just shoots some heroin, and comes back in.
Alright, so today we're gonna watch a movie. Yay! Yeah, okay, we're gonna watch a movie, kids, because I'm just done. I don't understand you anymore. I came in with the, every teacher's got to come in like, I'm going to be the cool, hip teacher that's going to like...
10 years later, like, that hipness is all gone and dried out.
It's like, the fuck do you want? Can I get help with my homework? Oh, the answers are in the back of the book. Thank you!
But teacher, there's only half the answer. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
I will comp you the rest. You'll get a B if you just do half of them right. Okay!
Timmy, if you shut up the rest of the year, you'll walk away with a B.
I'm not sure.
I don't know how to shut up! Oh, God.
Wow.
My mom says that I have a problem! That I can say talking loud volumes all day!
That I can't control!
And the doctor says I'm retarded! Shows up a notice, says, yes, this boy's retarded. He can't stop talking. Because you know there was always that kid that had some fucking weird-ass problem where, like, oh, it's okay if Billy can keep farting in class. He has a disease.
I can imagine that being way more now than it was then.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
there would be that...
I remember, like, just in the 90s, there'd be, like, that one kid, and everybody would be like, it's a fucking freak kid. He's got a disease paper with him.
He's a sick one.
He's passing around a weird floppy drive that's got something on it. I don't trust him.
Or it's something like, there would be, like, the kid that was, like... He could only, like, it would be something to the effect of, like, he wouldn't be maybe in the special ed class or anything, but it'd be like doing like work, and he'd be saying like his notes down out loud quietly to himself. It's the only way I can think. It's the only way I can say it.
You're like, shut the fuck up. We're all trying to study here.
Like, M5 squared. Move to the variable of the 3. Da, 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 da. Just like, dude, can you just like? It's okay. It's the only way he can do it. We just gotta just bear with it.
Can he go in a special classroom? Well, he's not special ed. He's like, sounds like it to me.
Yeah. There would be that kid that, like, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't like the smartest
Or
kid.
like the kid that has to look at the keyboard screen like 2 inches away.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the brightest kid, and I was one of the kids that went to, not exactly special ed, but to one of the kids that was almost kind of like, you're in there with the kids that just were kind of slow, like me, or the kids just didn't give a fuck. It was kind of like...
or there's like the third grader sitting there like smoking in like the corner. Like,
yeah.
Yo,
Well,
Ryan, you got Game Boy on you?
You seen Stand and Deliver? Yeah, it's like
He's
that.
just sitting there, his feet up on the desk, like, Ryan, you got Game Boy on you? And you kind of hand it over to him, you're like, this makes us friends, and then he won't, like, try to, like, mug me for money later.
Exactly.
Ryan, you're cool. You're cool, dude. Want a cigarette? No? It's okay, dude. Got you covered. I'm gonna play this Ninja Guy. You mind, right? Cool, dude. That's why I like you, Ryan.
You're gonna erase your file. You're gonna erase your file, okay? That cool? All right, cool. That's what I thought. No, that was like kind of like the Stand and Deliver class where you weren't so like not like everybody was a thug or anything.
You walk in like, hi.
It was more like kind of like you had a couple
Everybody
kids.
looks at you like, you brought this Irish
Gee
kid.
willikers, guys. Yeah, I was kind of
Hey, Richie Cunningham.
It was just kind of like, yeah, these kids ain't going nowhere. Just put them in this corner. Yeah, okay. And then like eventually you got to high school, and they're like, it was almost kind of like we don't do that shit here. You go to fucking classic regular. You don't get special English. You go to regular English. You fucking man up.
Like, but I was the top of the class in that special class.
Yeah, I was like in the special, in the slow special kids class. I was doing really good. You're just a fucking prison bitch here. You get to fucking regular history. Like, all right, okay, all right.
Personally, it's like one of those ones what I learned in school is that I would rather be in the regular classes, that not like the ones like you never want to be in the high classes because that's what I noticed. If I was in regular classes, I got really high grades. The second that you put me in one of those like advanced classes, it just now I'm the lowest student in there, and it was just like no.
Well, I did bad. I mean, now it's like this is getting too autobiographical here, but no, I was doing like really good for a while, and then I just had one. I don't know what happened. I just did bad in like I'd say 5th grade. It's like this kid's fucking stupid. Throw him in the dumb class. So I was in the dumb class, and then after that, I just like just started taking regular classes again, just because like we don't do that here. So then I was like, oh. Okay, turns out I'm not as stupid as I thought I was. I can do regular stuff just fine. So, but you didn't want to be in the advanced classes because those are the kids that took the shit way too seriously.
Well, I realized that I had a set amount of work that I was going to do, no matter what class it was in. So if you advance that work by any amount, I'm only going to do that set amount that I was going to do. So in a regular class, that means I do it all. You put an advanced class, and you want to try to add 25% to that? Well, I'm never going to do that extra 25%. That's right.
There's the
like, I was like, I got shit to do. I got to fucking write scripts and play music, man. And fucking,
play DS.
I'm a dreamer, yo.
And play DS.
Yeah. Those are my thing. I was like, dude, I'm playing DS. That's how I study, yo. How do you think I get fucking A+ in, like, this class? DS.
There was that one time, I remember you and RJ had a class that was like right next door to each other, and you had the knocking system where you guys would play Mario Kart on Wi-Fi, and you'd knock, and he knocked back. You both start playing the game, and then like
see, this is something that like nowadays you could just send a text message to, but this is like the first wireless device that any child had because nobody had cell phones yet. We weren't at that point, so the DS was like, dude, we got a device. It's got internet on it. And it's wireless. You don't even have to have that fucking trading cord anymore. You're like, what? Where before you might have drilled a hole through the wall and it's like slipped
Trading
the trading
Pokemon
card
cards. Trading Pokemon with that. Yeah.
like just like the secret, like it's just you like put some gum over it so like to cover it later on. Some putty.
There was like just like kind of great escape your way into that. Just like the whole time being like drilling a hole, like like
you just see like that purple cord start sliding through, like plug it into your Game Boy. But no, what we had a knock system and stuff, and like depending on like if sometimes if you didn't sit next to the wall, you had to like kind of like con in somebody else to do the knocks, and I can't remember exactly who it was. There was like one knock to say like I'm here. I think it was like 2 knocks to start the game and then 3 knocks to quit. It'd be funny because the teacher be sitting there and all of a sudden be, what was that? I don't know. My bag slapped up on the table so you can't see the DS, and you'd hear. Teacher goes, what the fuck was that? We're like, beats me. They got a rowdy class next door probably or something. I don't know.
Those kids.
And then we were sitting there playing Mario Kart and everything. And I remember one time, it was one of those like circular like book ones where it's like, let's talk about the characters here. And I'm with all the preppy kids and whatnot. And I'm sitting there playing my DS. And everybody thinks I got my book out. And I'm playing RJ and Mario Kart. And we're fucking like racing and everything. And after a while, one of the girls, she looks over and goes, he's not fucking reading.
No, it was like one of those things like she was like, wasn't she like, okay, yeah. Like she was really like...
Oh, you were
she was
so into
intense.
it. They were so into it. And, like, I was just, like, belting off answers and stuff. Because I don't know what it is. If I have video games in my hand, like, I can concentrate really well on, like, the surrounding environments. It worked well for me. I got, like, maybe I got, like, some kind of, like, retarded problem in the sense, like, he's got to have, like, something.
You're Rain Man.
Well, it was weird because, like,
If I throw this box of pens, count how many there are.
Yeah, exactly. When I was, like, in class, like, if I didn't have anything in my hands like that, this would be, I would just sit there and be like, and then start panning my head towards the window and like, oh look, there's a deer walking by. Huh. I wonder where he's going. Oh, looks like Billy's ditching school or class again. He's out there, huh? He looks like he's having a good time. And then bum, start progressing my head the other direction. Oh, look, there's a poster on the wall. Huh.
Hang in there. I will,
yeah,
kid.
yeah,
I will.
That's right, kitty. And then so I'm totally distracted. But if I got a game in my hand and stuff, it's like I hear everything. I hear it all, and it sucks into me because I'm not distracted by like my surrounding environment.
And then she's like, he's playing games. He's playing.
And then
games.
she started like taking from me. I was like fighting her off and everything. Like I gotta beat RJ.
She's literally trying to physically take the game out of your hand.
I think so. Yeah. Just gonna fucking slapping her.
This is what happens if you come between a man and his DS.
Just up before class, just like beating the shit out of her, like, don't fuck around.
I've seen you, like, I rarely see you get really angry, but I've seen you a handful of times get really angry, and you do, and it's usually over something like your computer or your video games. Like, you do not push my way down! Like, like, just fire and brimstone.
I just remember there was, like, some, like, bitch who, like, because we had this stupid class where it was like, learn about life, kids. And we were all sitting in the back, like...
Miss Hendricks' class?
Yeah, and I think she changed her name, like, halfway through school. Like, literally, like, she was called something when I got to school.
Miss Hoosman.
And then, like, 2 years later, she had a different last name. Yeah. And it was just, like, it was a dumb class. And we were also in the back fucking... We all had DSs at this point, so we all felt like... It's like, those like... It was almost like...
This is your easy A. We can just bullshit our way through this.
But it's just funny, because it's almost like there was, like, a gang of people that just played DS, like, in the back of class.
Well, you guys...
And then there'd only be that one kid who's got his Game Boy SP. I'm like, sorry, guys, I can't afford the DS yet.
You guys are like, it's like fucking like West Side Story. You're just in the back of the class, just snapping
their fingers, playing games. And then I remember, like, she would get all, like, pissy at some point and be like, put that away or whatever. And then, like, you get, like, that one girl that tried to, like, stand up like she's fucking, like, teacher assistant. She's like, hey, guys, like, you don't have to have those out right now. I was like, she starts putting, like, why don't you put those fucking away or something like that. So they didn't say fucking. And it's just that point, I was like, no, you don't tell me what the fuck to do. Do I tell you what the fuck to do? You don't tell me what to do.
It was her assistant. You told that
No, it
to?
wasn't assistant. It was just, like, literally, it's like some other, like, student in the class.
Oh, okay.
Who thinks they're all big and special. Like, just another preppy girl. And it was like, no. But then they started thinking, like, why do you guys even need those anyways? Like, this is life. This is all we know. Don't take that away from us. Nintendo has granted us a future.
It's all I have left. I just see it being almost kind of like, like they take it away. It's like, no, that's my baby! Like in some Holocaust movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It needs me!
The other cool thing I just remember, because that was also like the first time that like, see, this is another one too, is like, probably Wi-Fi is now all locked down at schools, but this is when Wi-Fi was just brand new, so nobody knew what the fuck it was, so they just had it open. So I would sit there playing Metroid Prime Hunters online against people during class, and play my PSP online.
I never did any of that. I mean, I had it. I was afraid it was gonna get stolen at school, so I never brought that shit with me.
See, I just had this thing that I would just walk out of, like, I didn't have a problem. Somebody try to take shit from me, I'm not gonna let that happen.
I wasn't really that worried about it. I just like if I don't bring it, I don't have to worry about it, and I'm just one of those guys, you know. But yeah.
It was like the way to pass time.
Or it could just be because that's when my house got robbed, so I didn't have
So
to.
now you're fearful of everything.
Yeah,
everywhere
yeah.
is a scary place.
Yeah, because I knew it was somebody from school. That was the thing. So yeah.
Fucking somebody who hopefully is dead next to Polly.
Oh, I hope he's dead next
in a
to Paul.
in like a
Neck right
unmarked grave.
An unmarked grave in a ditch somewhere. No flowers, no bouquet, no tombstone, just forgotten.
Just manure.
That's the way I'd like it for that cocksucker. But yeah, you know.
Well, nobody's seen this cocksucker, so he might
I'm grateful for this fuck being down in the ground,
dead.
the unmarked grave. I don't know if he is, but yeah.
Speaking of being buried alive, you know what movie looks fucking awesome though? It's that new Leo and Tom Hardy movie.
The Reverend or whatever.
Like every single time I see that trailer, I'm actually almost more excited for that than Star Wars. And I know that sounds almost like blasphemy, but I guess it's like a Star Wars. I know what I'm going to get in Star Wars. I mean, like I don't know how the story is going to go or anything like that, but I know I'm going to get something I'm going to totally enjoy because I like all 6 Star Wars, no matter what people try to tell me. I like all 6 of them, so I know I'm going to like number 7. This movie though is just like it just looks manly and ballsy and primal as fuck. It just
Leo wearing furs, shooting guns.
yeah, just furs and it's ice, and it's cold, and it's. I don't think there's a female in the movie. It's just like Reservoir Dogs, like.
All this pussy's getting in the way of the action.
Yeah, it's just these guys out there, and it's just brutal. And I just look at this, I'm like, dude, I can't wait for this movie. It just looks, and then just like the music, it's just like, dude, like almost like somebody breathing in water. Like it's weird background, like really creative.
I'm looking forward to it. I can see it being like an artsier movie where there's barely any action for a while, just mostly just surviving out in the woods and just kind of like long cuts of just quiet. But then like I can see it suddenly when it does get action packed, it's just like holy fuck, you know, just really dark and just really violent. And there's apparently it's at some point in the movie, Leo crawl inside of a dead moose.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, well, so it's like Star Wars.
It's like, and I thought they stank on the outside. I don't know whatever his voice is he's doing for this movie. He really wants that fucking Academy Award. Every movie, he just getting more intense. Like, I need an Academy Award. Just like, look at his facial shot. There's a part where it's kind of a weird Dutch angle, and he's like...
And he's crawling. And Terminator
like
pulling himself across the
foam
ground.
coming out of his mouth, like, you know, just like, yeah, he really wants that.
Well, Leo's like the kind of guy, like, literally, like, in the last 15 years, he never leads you astray. He literally takes you on movies that are practically 4 out of 4 movies, just about, like, consecutively.
Departed's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Departed, Wolf of Wall Street, Aviator. I know I just named enough, like, Martin
Scorsese
Scorsese movies. Gangs of New York.
I will say that J. Edgar, not that he was bad, but J. Edgar was alright, even though that was a
I like that one. I mean, like,
it was alright.
It's not like, but, like, it's still, like, a strong performance. I mean, there's nothing, like, that's like those
It could have been, like, 20 minutes shorter, probably.
Yeah, that's like one of those kind of movies where it's like, it's never gonna be that movie you're like, oh man, I can just throw that movie on every time. Like movies like that are made, but for that, like the one-time shot watch of it, I really enjoyed going through it. You know, and then, okay, I'm trying to blank on some of the other ones that came out like recently. Oh, like Inception and so on.
Inception was
he
really
just
good.
like Leo's like a guy you can just trust when it comes because you know if he picked it, it's gonna be a really fucking awesome movie because he doesn't just pick anything. Mm-hmm. He's selective on what he wants.
They went after him at one point when they were just getting ready to do the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. They went to him, I think, first to play Peter Parker, but he turned it down. So that says right there, even though, because most people just take like, fuck yeah, but like he's like, no. It's not actor enough for me, you know?
Well, because that's really when he's really young, because that would have been like 2000, he probably got asked.
Yeah.
If not earlier than that, so it would have been right after Romeo and Juliet.
It might have even been like, because it would make sense, because probably around the same time, it maybe would have even been James Cameron's attempt at Spider-Man.
Oh, that's true. Well, see, it also would make sense if it was Sam Raimi, because he was in Quick and the Dead.
Yeah, that's true.
So, that might have been where that kind of came from. Mm-hmm. Hey, Leo! really liked you in Quick and the Dead. You want me in Spider-Man? Just hangs the phone up on him like, oh, thought we had a connection there.
Guess not. I think Quick and Dead was like his last big genre movie because everything. I mean, I guess Good Bad, not Good Bad. Yeah,
we should do the Quick and the Dead podcast.
That'd be good.
At some point.
Like a brand new podcast, they get Quick and the Dead, or just like a commentary?
A commentary. I didn't mean like a full on like, okay, we're gonna break down
the Quick and the Cast. The Quick and the Cast.
Yeah. Do one of those ones where you like play like 20 seconds of it. Now, okay, now let's talk about this. Really break down that last 20 seconds, and then like talk for 5 minutes, and then play another 20 seconds. Okay, what'd you think about that scene?
So then we get
where
to
slowly
episode.
pulls his gun out. You know.
So we get to episode 20, when we finally finish the movie. Like, okay, so what would you do for Quick and the Dead 2?
Yeah. And I go, okay, now let's watch the original Quick and the Dead, the 70s one.
Really reaching here. Okay, wow.
Yeah, it's like, I hear a podcast that nobody literally ever wanted. Not like that Quick and the Dead's not a good movie, but just
It is a good movie.
don't want 20 episodes of 10-second intervals.
Well, I'm surprised. It's one of those things. Like, I'm sure that there is like he has a little bit of a format for it. I've only heard one episode of it, but how Kevin Smith and Matt Mara have that podcast, talk it like Scrambled
Frasier
Eggs and Talk Salad, that the Frasier podcast. And I remember just hearing like when he was talking to somebody in like some interview, he's just like I do a Frasier podcast with Matt Mara. He's like, you do a fucking Frasier podcast? Just his initial reaction.
Just did the thing like, what?
Like that, like he didn't have time to think about his response. Just slipped out. You do a fucking Frasier podcast?
That's a weird one too. The only thing about Matt Mara is he has like that 007 one, and I remember I started
James
listening to
Bonding.
it when it came out, and like, okay, that guy is a big 007 fan, but the second that like, I don't know, it was like when he was like, yeah, I fucking hate Pierce Brosnan, and then the other guy's like, yeah, I fucking hate him too. I was just kind of like, well, you guys kind of lost me there. I mean, I was proud to say that they liked Roger Moore because a lot of times that's always the guy that gets the fuck you first, but when I heard that, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can
I
continue.
thought Timothy Dalton was the one a lot of people didn't like.
Some people don't like him either, too. Mostly people like, yeah, the ones that, you notice you never hear somebody go, oh, you know who I fucking hate? Sean Connery.
You
Fuck
never
that
hear
guy.
that.
You never, I've never heard that, actually. If somebody's saying that, I feel like they're saying it for attention. It's clearly not real. But Pierce Brosnan was one too. Like, that used to be the one, too. It's like, you almost never heard that one, too, because you're like, mostly everybody liked Pierce Brosnan, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, the second it's like, okay, you guys call yourself big 007 fans, but you really don't like Pierce Brosnan? It was just kind of like, I don't know. I almost just felt like, after a while, I was like, you know what? I could probably do a better James Bond podcast than these guys. I don't mean to sound like that, but at least I don't hate anyone.
I'm not sure. Maybe because I was yawning and it just sounded a little out of it. It just sounded like you put this. At least I don't hate anyone. I don't know what it was. Maybe because I was yawning, my ears sounded a little fogged for a minute. But like, I don't know, just kind of like just this almost primal. Just like, how can I put this into words that can convey my feelings? I don't hate. I am not a gun. There we go.
I am not a crook.
Tree rock.
I am Groot. He understands it.
With less words, he gets more meaning across.
It's funny that in one of the Rocket Raccoon like issues, there's one where Groot's telling this story to a campfire to kids. Or Rocket Raccoon first starts off, he's telling this campfire story to kids, and then Groot goes to tell a story to like these like Boy Scouts of space, and the entire story it just says I am Groot, and it just kind of shows it. Since it's comic book and panels, you get what's going on, but all the dialogue is I am Groot, and at the very end, two of the kids look at each other and go like, dude, did you get what fucking happened? He's like, I had no idea what he said. And then there's like a little like Groot tree like Boy Scout. He's like, I got the whole thing. It was great. It made total sense.
That's actually pretty funny right there.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a ballsy like. It was just like, oh wow, you can do an entire comic book or entire issue with technically no dialogue.
Well, there's one of those things like I am like apparently I overheard this like I am Groot, like they all say that, and that's like in their language, and just through inflection and tone, that's like their language, and they could get really. It's one of those really super sci-fi things. If you explain to someone who never cracked open a science fiction book, they'd be like, "Fucking nerd," you know.
People are like, I found that funny in the movie until you explained it to me.
Yeah.
Now I think it's stupid.
Exactly. Which I understand. I mean, I was like. Groot, that's be a weird character to do, and that's so good. And they got like Vin Diesel to just say "I am Groot" all the time.
Yeah,
but he's writing that. He's like, I love I am. He loves the I am Groot thing. But there is the part where he, I will say, it is like as cheesy it may be, the most heartwarming parts of that movie. He says like, "But Groot, why?" He says, "We are Groot." He's like that.
It tugs at your heart.
It's one of those things. It's just so fucking like cheesy and just so easy. Just like what we do instead of I put we. That's all I fucking did.
Yeah, but we all got it.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably a good place to wrap it all up. Make sure to go to oldmanorange.com to see more podcasts, cartoons,
And
movies,
stuff, music and more.
Click on the Amazon links if you want to support the podcast. You can find them on the oldmanorange.com.
Follow us on Twitter.
There's always one down below in the descriptions, no matter what site you seem to be on.
Is this your Jack Nicholson?
I
Or your
guess.
Christian Slater?
Christian Slater.
I'm gonna go Christian Slater.
Christian Slater. But,
Follow
yeah.
us at Twitter.
Follow us at Twitter, or you can find me at Spencer S. Holmes, at
Find-
Dunigan at.
Dunigan Ryan.
Until then, we will see you some other time.
Later, folks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Happy Turkey Holocaust.
Turkey Holocaust. That was what our last podcast was called. Last year.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck it. Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. If you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. It won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks again, and tune in next week for more Old Man Orange Podcast.